Most parents in the West approach toilet training with a sense of dread. The power struggles, the accidents, the regression after weeks of progress, the endless bribes with stickers and candy. It's become one of those parenting milestones that feels more like a battlefield than a natural transition. Meanwhile, in Japan, most children are fully trained by age 2 with almost none of the drama. No reward charts taped to bathroom walls, no meltdowns over wearing underwear, no parents nervously asking if their 3.5-year-old is abnormal for still being in diapers. The difference isn't some fancy product or strict technique. It's something far more fundamental, and it challenges almost everything we've been told about how this process should work. Before we go any further, if this kind of calm, science-based parenting content helps you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to Parenting Explained. And if you'd like more practical guidance on raising happy, healthy, emotionally secure children, you can download our effortless parenting guide using the link in the description. In Japan, 90% of children are out of diapers by 2.5 years old. In the United States, that number is closer to 3.5 to 4 years. That's a full year or more of difference. But the gap isn't really about capability, it's about approach. Japanese parents don't frame toilet training as a battle to be won or a milestone to conquer. There's no celebration when it happens, no anxiety when it takes longer. It's treated as a natural developmental shift, like learning to walk or say first words. Western parents, on the other hand, have been taught to wait. Wait until the child shows readiness signs. Wait until they can communicate clearly. Wait until they express interest. And while that sounds respectful and child-led, it often backfires. By the time we start, many children are so comfortable in diapers that the transition feels like a loss rather than a gain. The core difference comes down to one concept: collaboration versus control. The Japanese approach has a name: Omutsu Hazushi. It translates roughly to diaper liberation, but the meaning goes deeper than just removing diapers. It's a philosophy of gradual, pressure-free separation from dependency. This isn't about forcing a child to be independent before they're ready. It's about recognizing the signals their body is already giving and working with them instead of waiting for some arbitrary checklist of readiness to be completed. Japanese parents often begin this process as early as 6 to 12 months, but not in the way you might think. They're not potty training infants. They're observing. They watch for patterns. Does the baby always go right after waking up? After a meal? Do they pause or make a face before they wet their diaper? These observations aren't recorded on a chart or turned into a rigid schedule. They're simply noticed. And once a pattern becomes clear, parents start offering the potty at those times, not with expectation, not with pressure, just as an option. There are no sticker charts, no M&Ms handed out for successful attempts, no shaming or frustration when accidents happen. The child's body is learning to connect sensation with action, and the parent is just there to facilitate. So why does the Western method so often turn into a nightmare? Because we've accidentally designed it to fail. We wait until children are 3 or older, which sounds ancient and respectful, but by that point, they've spent years learning that diapers are the norm. They've built comfort and routine around them. Asking a 3-year-old to suddenly change that behavior isn't child-led, it's disruptive. Then we add rewards. We say, if you use the potty, you get a treat. And while that might work short-term, it trains kids to rely on external motivation instead of internal body awareness. They're not learning to notice the urge and respond. They're learning to perform a behavior for a prize. Then there's the pull-up problem. Pull-ups were marketed as a transition tool, but they're essentially diapers that we expect kids to treat differently. They feel the same, they absorb the same, but we're frustrated when children don't magically recognize them as a step toward underwear. The child isn't confused, the system is. And underneath all of this is an industry. American toilet training has become a billion-dollar market. Potty seats with bells and lights, books and videos starring animated characters, training pants in 15 different styles, flushable wipes, portable potties, all of it designed to solve a problem that's been magnified by our own cultural anxiety. Here's the part that makes the Japanese method so effective. Babies are born aware of elimination. From birth, they feel the sensation of a wet or soiled diaper. But because we keep them in absorbent diapers around the clock, that awareness fades. They stop noticing. They stop signaling. We essentially train them out of the very skill we'll later try to train them back into. Research shows that infants as young as 3 months can communicate before they eliminate if caregivers learn to recognize the cues: squirming, fussing, certain facial expressions. In cultures that practice elimination communication, parents respond to these cues early, and children retain their natural awareness. The Japanese method doesn't go quite that far, but it does preserve that awareness instead of erasing it. They introduce the idea of the potty early enough that the child's brain still connects sensation with action. The window between 12 and 24 months turns out to be neurologically ideal. Children at this age are old enough to communicate and understand routine, but young enough that they haven't yet developed the strong-willed resistance that can emerge closer to age 3. They're also less likely to view the potty as a power struggle because they haven't yet entered the full force of the autonomy-seeking phase. Starting earlier doesn't mean finishing faster in every case, but it does mean avoiding the entrenchment that makes later training so difficult. So, how does this actually work in practice? It starts with observation. You're not doing anything yet, you're just noticing. When does your child usually have a bowel movement? Is it after breakfast? After their nap? Do they go off to a corner or become quiet before it happens? You're gathering information without pressure. Once you start to see patterns, you introduce the potty. This happens around 12 to 15 months in many Japanese households. The potty just appears. It's in the bathroom or a corner of a room. The child is allowed to sit on it fully clothed. They can explore it, play near it, ignore it. There's no grand announcement. It's just another object in their environment. Then, at predictable times, you offer, not demand. After they wake up, you say, "Let's try the potty." Before the bath, you sit them on it for a moment. After meals, same thing. There's no expectation of success. If something happens, great. If not, that's fine too. Your tone stays the same either way. Gradually, as the child starts to connect the dots between their body's signals and the potty, you begin reducing daytime diaper use. Some parents switch to underwear or training pants during the day and use diapers only for sleep. Others go straight to underwear and accept that accidents will happen. The key is that accidents aren't treated as failures. They're information. "Oh, we didn't make it that time. Let's try again soon." The whole process typically takes 3 to 6 months, but there's no race. Some children catch on in 2 weeks, others take longer. The timeline isn't the point. The lack of struggle is. Now, before this starts to sound like a miracle cure, let's be honest about why this feels nearly impossible for many Western parents. We're not set up for it. Japanese culture includes things like communal bathroom spaces where children see other kids and adults using the toilet as a normal part of life. Their homes are often smaller, meaning the bathroom is more accessible and less of a trek from wherever the child is playing. Parents in Japan also tend to have more parental leave and support structures that allow for the kind of consistent observation this method requires. In the West, we're managing daycare drop-offs, work schedules, multiple children, and a constant undercurrent of guilt about whether we're doing everything right. Many daycare centres have policies that actually prevent early potty learning. They require children to be fully trained before they'll support the process, which creates a catch-22. And even if you want to start early at home, the lack of time and presence makes it incredibly difficult to watch for cues and offer the potty consistently. The method isn't impossible here, but it does require resources that not every family has. And that's worth naming, because the last thing parents need is another thing to feel guilty about. But here's what you can borrow, even if you can't replicate the method perfectly. You don't need to start at 6 months or have a communal bathroom. The principles still apply. Start earlier than you think you should. Even if your child is 18 months and you've been told to wait, introduce the potty now. Let it become part of the landscape. Let them see you use the bathroom. Make it normal and boring, not a big event. Ditch the rewards and the shame. Both of them create external pressure. A sticker chart tells a child that success is about pleasing you, not about their own body. Shame tells them that their body is bad or wrong. Neither builds the internal awareness that actually leads to independence. Trust the process over the timeline. Some kids will take 2 weeks, others will take 6 months. Your job isn't to speed it up, it's to stay calm and consistent while it unfolds. And maybe most importantly, make it boring. Don't throw a party when they succeed. Don't spiral into frustration when they have an accident. Keep your tone even and your expectations low. This isn't a performance. It's just a thing their body does, and they're learning to manage it. The real rule, the thing that changes everything, is this. Your job is to offer the opportunity, not control the outcome. Japanese parents don't train their children. They guide them toward a skill the child's body already wants. Oh, master. Think about it. No child actually prefers sitting in a wet or soiled diaper. It's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. But when we turn potty use into a battleground, we make it about power instead of comfort. We make it about compliance instead of capability. When you step back and remove the struggle, most children will naturally move toward being dry. Not because you forced them, not because you bribed them, but because it feels better. Accidents stop being moral failures and become what they actually are. Data points. Oh, we missed that cue. Let's notice it next time. The child learns, you learn. And slowly, the process clicks. Toilet training was never supposed to be a battle. Somewhere along the way, we turned a natural developmental process into a high-stakes test of parenting skill. We made it about timelines and products and whether we were doing enough or starting too late or being too permissive. The Japanese approach works because it strips all of that away. It respects the child's body, it respects their timing, it removes shame and pressure and replaces them with patience and observation. You can't force readiness, but you can create an environment where readiness unfolds naturally. The question isn't, how do I make my child use the toilet? It's how do I stop getting in their way? And sometimes the best parenting advice is the oldest advice. Trust the child, stay calm, let development happen. The process knows what it's doing. You just have to stop fighting it. So here's the real question. Did your experience with toilet training feel like a power struggle or a natural transition? What would you do differently knowing what you know now? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this video helped you see things differently, share it with a parent who's in the thick of it right now. Sometimes just knowing there's another way is enough to change everything.